We are narrowing the list of who could die down to just 5 names, and we can pretty much guarantee 2 of them will not survive the final fight. That's the reality we're looking at, combining what we know from the new season with some undeniable leaks.
It really is that serious. We're getting past all the speculation, the endless fan theories, because the first 4 episodes, they've given us solid, concrete things to work with.
Right.
And we're mixing that with these really detailed filming leaks that came out in 2024, plus the clues the Duffer Brothers have been dropping everywhere. You put it all together, and the list of characters you actually need to worry about gets very small.
So the mission for this deep dive is to take that huge list of potential casualties and just simplify it. We're only looking at 2 things: what we saw on screen in Volume 1 and the hard physical proof that came out from filming, especially those big epilogue scenes they filmed out in public.
Yeah, and we should probably set the stage right away.
Right.
Based on those filming clues, the vast majority of the main characters, the kids we've been with from the start, they're almost certainly safe. Like 95% plus likely to survive.
So we know where they end up, basically.
We know where they were seen during that final epilogue, yes. Which means our focus has to shift. It shifts to 2 very specific types of characters whose deaths are still very much on the table. And that's how we get our final list of 5 names.
Okay, let's unpack this. First category: secondary casualties. These are the people whose deaths would have a massive emotional impact, but without, destroying the core group. So we have to talk about the Wheelers.
Exactly. The Wheelers, they usually feel like background noise, but now they are directly in Vecna's path. We have to start with Ted Wheeler, Mike, and Nancy's dad.
The guy on the recliner.
The guy on the recliner, he's now a confirmed victim. In episode 2, he had a really bad run-in with a Demogorgon. He didn't die, but he's in an induced coma in the hospital. And that suddenly makes him important to the plot. He's not just comic relief anymore.
And this is where the leaks come in, right? Because we have a confirmed spoiler that in Volume 2, Vecna launches a full-on attack at the hospital. He sends in the demo dogs.
Yes, and this is critical. It's not random. He's targeting the hospital for one reason. Max is there. She's fighting him inside his mind, so he's trying to take out her physical body. It's a surgical strike.
So Ted is just there, recovering from the first demo creature attack.
In the exact same building that's about to be flooded with a pack of demo dogs sent to kill anyone who gets in their way. He could so easily become this just completely tragic secondary victim.
And it makes sense. Killing him would hurt, but it wouldn't break the whole story. The showrunners would absolutely do that for the emotional weight.
They would. It gives Mike and Nancy a personal tragedy to deal with.
But how sure are we about these leaks? I mean, a detailed hospital attack plan sounds almost too specific to be real.
Well, we can gauge the reliability by looking at what we know about Karen Wheeler, the mom. When leaks first came out saying she was also seriously hurt and in the hospital, a lot of people just didn't buy it.
Right, it seemed unlikely.
But then it was confirmed. After filming wrapped, they found leftover set material.
What kind of material?
Not just rumors, but actual props. A fan got onto the hospital set and found the scenic medical records they used for set dressing. And Mike's mother's chart was there. It detailed a laceration on the body near the neck.
Wow.
And that specific detail lined up perfectly with what we saw happen to her in Volume 1. So we can trust a tiny detail on a prop medical chart. We have to trust the bigger story it was part of, the hospital siege. The small detail proves the big picture.
So what does all this mean for the end? If a Wheeler parent dies, you said it connects to an epilogue leak?
It ties it all together beautifully. We know that after the big final battle, during the epilogue scenes, only 2 main characters were filmed in public, Hopper and Mike. And Mike was visibly deeply upset. He needed Hopper to support him. The grief was real.
And everyone's first thought was, he's mourning Eleven. Her fate is the big question mark.
Of course, that's the obvious guess. But if you look at how the Duffers write, they love to inflict trauma without killing a core kid. So Mike's profound sadness, needing a father figure like Hopper to lean on, it makes perfect sense if he just had to bury one of his parents. Or both.
A death in that hospital attack gives him that defining, tragic moment for his character's ending.
Exactly. It's a calculated emotional punch. You kill someone central to Mike's world, but you don't have to sacrifice Lucas or Dustin or Will. So Ted and Karen are both squarely on that high-risk list.
It's like tragic narrative economy. Their deaths aren't random, they're emotional leverage.
That's a perfect way to put it. They're in Vecna's way. and the story suggests they will pay the price for it.
Okay, let's shift to the other category, the high-impact wildcard. This is where the lore gets really fascinating. We have to talk about the return of a character we haven't seen since Season 2. Key, 008, Eleven's sister.
Yes, her confirmation in Episode 4 is huge. It puts her right back on the casualty list.
Bringing her back after all this time can't be for nothing.
No, absolutely not. She has a strategic purpose. The main theory is that her powers, which are about distorting reality, are the key. They're different from Eleven's powers. Key's job is to help Eleven get at Vecna's one real weakness, his trauma.
Okay, that sounds really complex. For anyone who hasn't, read every comic and seen the stage play, can you break that down? How do reality-bending powers attack Vecna's trauma?
Right, so let's simplify it. The lore is dense, but the idea is simple. Vecna, for all his power, has a weak spot. We saw him avoid that cave where Max and Holly were. The sources confirm the cave is a major psychological trigger for him, for Henry Creel.
But why that specific cave? What's so special about it?
It's all in the prequel play, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. And that play is canon. It's essential for the final season. It shows us that a young Henry Creel first got his powers when he entered a cave in Nevada. That cave was his first entry point into Dimension X, where he met the Mind Flayer.
Ah, so that's the origin point, the moment he changed forever.
It's the root of everything. The moment he lost his humanity, that specific memory is his Achilles heel. It's the one place in his mind he desperately wants to avoid.
So the new plan isn't just a physical fight, it's psychological warfare. They're going to use Key's powers to force Vecna to relive that moment.
Exactly. The goal is to drag him back to that trauma cave in his own mind, weaken him from the inside, so Eleven can land the final physical blow. But this puts Key in incredible danger. She's messing with the most fragile and the most dangerous part of his entire being.
She's the psychological infiltrator.
Yes. And in that scenario, the risk is that Vecna, who is still immensely powerful, recognizes what she's doing. He could just turn the tables on her, overwhelm her powers, and because she's inside his mind, he could kill her instantly. It would be a huge loss, but a necessary sacrifice to win.
And the fan theories go even darker, right? They connect her potential death to Will Byers.
This is where it gets truly devastating. The more dramatic theory is that Vecna doesn't just kill Key himself. He possesses Will again, who we know still has that link to the Upside Down. And he forces Will to use his own powers to kill her.
That would be one of the biggest tragedies in the whole series.
It would be gut-wrenching. Think of the emotional wreckage that would leave for Will. It would define his entire story arc. So Key's return, which was kept so quiet, makes her the ultimate tragic wild card, ready to be sacrificed.
Okay, so if we connect all this, using secondary characters for emotional weight, a wild card for a strategic sacrifice, it explains why we're not expecting some kind of huge Game of Thrones bloodbath.
Precisely. We said at the start, the leaks show most of the core group survives. The ending is definitive, but it's meant to be hopeful for most of them. The focus isn't on how many people die, it's about who has to die.
And the one person who absolutely must be eliminated for the story to end is Vecna, Henry Creel.
It's the only way. Narratively, it's the most solid point in this whole thing. For Hawkins to go back to normal, for the Upside Down to finally close, the entity that started it all has to be destroyed.
His death is the reset button.
It's the reset button. The sources are clear. Henry Creel dies, the Upside Down ends. So his death is the most likely one on our entire list.
Which leaves the biggest unknown of all, 11. We have leaks about Hopper, Mike, the Wheelers, even Key. But about 11's ending, nothing. It's a total information vacuum.
And that contrast is, I think, the most telling thing of all. They've let details about almost everyone else slip out. But her final moments, her ultimate fate, completely locked down. They have gone to incredible lengths to hide Jane Hopper's ending.
So her fate is the biggest secret they have left.
It is. Whether she lives, dies, or makes some other kind of sacrifice to seal the gates for good. That's the core mystery of the finale.
So to sum this all up, the finale isn't about a high death count, it's about impact. The sources suggest if there's one really important death, it will probably be only one.
It really does boil down to a simple binary choice for the ending. The most compelling, emotionally resonant way to do it, based on the lore, is that Eleven and Vecna do not both survive. And they don't both die. One of them makes it, the other is gone for good.
Which brings us back to that very short list. A Wheeler for emotional weight, Key is the strategic wild card, and Vecna as the necessary end. By putting together the show's lore, like the trauma cave with the hard leaks, the hospital attack, Mike's grief, we get a much clearer and frankly more terrifying picture of how this is all going to feel.
And this is the question you should be thinking about before the final episodes drop. If the resolution really comes down to that choice, Eleven or Vecna, who do you think must die to properly close this story? Who delivers the bigger, more fitting gut punch that this 8-year journey needs to finally conclude? It's a choice between the hero and the villain, and that choice is going to define the entire legacy of the show.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.